Stock market to crash by 40% according to this strategist. And Jamie Dimon sells $150 million of shares. Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Please also share this video with your friends. Thank you for your support. Today, I read several financial news articles. I've included links to the articles in the description below. I encourage you to read the articles to support the authors and news sources. As a private American citizen, I'd like to report and share my transformative thoughts through commentary regarding small sections of these articles that are of public interest. Today, I read an article on Yahoo Finance put out by Business Insider and written by Jennifer Soar, titled, "A Recession in 2024 would burst the biggest stock bubble since the dot-com craze, sending the market down 40%, veteran strategist says." The author of this article references Paul Dietrich, the chief investment strategist of B. Riley Wealth. He is forecasting a mild recession to strike, but indicates even a low-grade slowdown could spark as much as a 40% stock crash, which could take the S&P 500 to around 3,000. The author went on to say, stocks fall an average of 36% at the onset of a recession, but Paul Dietrich believes the market could fall even more because he sees stocks as the most overvalued that they've been since 2001. Well, my friends, this is just the opinion of one individual. Keep in mind, no one has a crystal ball for what is going to happen. Many experts never suggest trying to time the market because it is nearly impossible to time the top or the bottom. If we did experience a 40% stock crash, imagine the implications. In the past year, I reported about a very high percentage of young homebuyers getting assistance from their parents to buy homes in this very competitive real estate market. If some of these parents saw their investment portfolios drop by 40%, I suspect they would be less willing to hand out money to their children. I can imagine some companies would ramp up layoffs as their stocks came under pressure. Some large companies may pull back on projects, which could result in a slowdown for smaller companies that are tied to those projects. There would likely be ripple effects felt across the entire economy. Some people might delay their retirement until the market recovers. Let's hope we do not experience a 40% drop in the stock market. Is it possible? Sure, anything is possible, but I think the Fed would intervene and go back to their old QE playbook to keep stocks propped up. Central banks around the world would likely follow suit to keep the markets propped up, even if this means more inflation, which will result in everyday Americans having an even harder time surviving due to the high cost of everything. Billionaires will cheer and thank the Fed officials because they will become wealthier than ever. This isn't 1987 anymore. Ever since 2008, we are in a whole new reality. Now, it is certainly possible our central bank and other central banks around the world could lose control and the markets could crash, but I personally doubt it. We might see a correction, but I don't think we are going to see a massive market crash. There are circuit breakers in place that will trigger limit down. No politician wants to see the market crash on his or her watch. I have no doubt they would be on TV assuring the public and talking about emergency measures being put in place to protect people's retirement accounts. Some of you may be perma-bears and think I'm totally off base, but look at what they have done in the past 15 years. The Fed and politicians can get very creative using the tools at their disposal. I read some of the comments beneath this article, and I'll share some of them with you. One commenter said, "At least they admit the market is in a big bubble. Don't know when it will be allowed to pop, but Shiller PE ratio is already at 35 times earnings. Can the market push that to 40 or 45 times? At what point do fundamentals start to not matter anymore?" Another person commented about a 40% stock crash and said, "Doubt it. Recession only means lower rates, and that means more gambling." The next commenter said, "Simply inform us when Paul Pelosi starts betting against the market and we'll be aware." I thought that one was pretty funny. The next commenter wrote, "Not going to happen. Modern monetary theory works. Get used to it." The last person said, "It needs to drop closer to 70% to get back to reality." What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. I read another interesting article today on Yahoo Finance put out by Business Insider and written by Catherine Tangalakis Lippert, titled, "JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon sells off $150 million of shares in first ever sale since taking over the banking giant. According to the author, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase on Thursday sold $150 million worth of shares in the banking giant, his first ever sale since taking over the company 18 years ago. I watched a couple of YouTube videos recently put out by creators who were citing this as evidence that a market crash is all but guaranteed because Jamie Dimon is preparing for the worst by putting cash on the sidelines. According to the author of this article, this was a planned sale for financial diversification and tax planning purposes. I've already shared my thoughts earlier regarding the possibility of a massive crash. I'm curious what you believe. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. There are some young people who probably don't care what the market does because they don't have any cash to invest in stocks. They are just happy they are getting a tax refund. I read another interesting article today on yahoo.com put out by the New York Post and written by David Lanzel, titled Gen Z and Millennials Rush to Claim Tax Refunds Amid Cost of Living Crisis. The author of this article referenced a new survey by Credit Karma that found 54% of people are rushing their documents to the post office hoping to get their refunds much quicker. That number includes 64% of Gen Z filers and 65% of millennials, with the report's authors noting the sense of urgency, saying that many are depending on refunds to subsidize their earnings and pay down debt, 34%, while 36% are anxiously filing to find out whether they owe. And while 31% of the total number of taxpayers confessed to depending on refunds to pay their bills, including the basics like rent and groceries, that number shoots up to 38% of Gen Zers and 40% of millennials. Well, my friends, it is unfortunate that personal finances are so tight for some young people that they are dependent on their tax refund to pay for their debt obligations and to cover the cost of rent and groceries. My heart goes out to these people who are struggling financially due to inflation. Imagine being in a situation where you have to wait the entire year to get a refund in order to catch up on your personal finances. That has to be nerve-wracking. If I were in that type of situation, I would be doing everything possible to lower my living expenses and increase my income. I would not want to be hoping and praying to get a tax refund to catch up on my bills. What do you think about this? Do you know people who wait all year to get their tax refund, to have money to pay down debt, or to go out and spend that money into the economy to buy something new? If so, tell me about it in the comment section below. For those who want to spend their tax refund at the hardware store, they may need an escort if they live in San Francisco. I read an article today on foxbusiness.com written by Timothy Narazi titled San Francisco Hardware Store Escorts Customers While Shopping to Deter Rising Crime. According to the author, a store called Frederickson Hardware and Paint will now provide shoppers with a staff member to escort them through the shop to keep employees safe and customers safe. They are doing this because of snatch and grabs in the city. Well, my friends, it is unfortunate that it has come to this, but I am sure they need to remain profitable. I'm sure some people may like to have a shopping assistant, especially if they are looking for some specialized bolt or washer. Sometimes when you go to big home improvement stores, it's difficult to find anyone to help you. I wish this store the best. I hope they can remain profitable and flourish in San Francisco. Time will certainly tell. It has to be hard for a small hardware company to compete with the big boys out there. Do you know any stores that are doing this? If so, tell me about it in the comment section below. Please keep in mind that everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. Check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.